A few days ago, the Jewish people have suffered the greatest loss we have experienced since the Holocaust. The events of this year's Simchat Torah will forever remain in our history. Now, if terrorists break into a country, brutally murder and kidnap people, then I would think that every state should be allowed to defend itself, except for Israel. It would seem that with the level of inhumanity that Hamas has displayed, everyone would understand who is right and who is wrong. But it turns out not to be the case. Some put the blame squarely on Israel. Others say that responsibility lies with both sides. To be honest, I don't even know which one of these two statements is worse. But how do those who blame both sides explain themselves? When they hear me say that I believe that Hamas is responsible, they answer that they have a more objective view. They maybe even say that because I'm Jewish, I feel the need to support my people. But they have a more comprehensive approach, more inclusive perspective. They are impartial, more balanced. These words, objective, inclusive, balanced, are constantly repeated by those who make claims of moral equivalence between Israel and those who want to annihilate it. And then I thought, they are not wrong. They really do have a more objective and balanced approach. I simply looked up the definition of the word objective. Interestingly, different dictionaries were giving completely different meanings of this word. Maybe these definitions were not written objectively. I don't know. But from all of them, it was obvious that objectivity requires taking into account all points of view. An objective person must understand all perspectives. But you know what? There are points of view that are clearly moral. There are perspectives that are simply cruel. But if I want to be objective, I have to take them into account too. You know what? There are positions that are absolutely inhumane. I don't want to understand them. If a person tells me that he understands them, I'll think something is wrong with this guy. But in order to be objective, I have to understand them too. When people who take immoral positions say that they are more objective and have more comprehensive approach than I do, they are right. So maybe it's better not to be objective. And then there's another reason why they are correct in describing their view. When defining objectivity, many dictionaries wrote that to be objective, one has to take into account only facts, never opinions. The problem, however, is that no one can prove you that any moral principles are facts. You think that cutting off heads of innocent children is a bad thing? Is it a fact or it's an opinion? It's your opinion. Terrorists clearly do not agree with this. You cannot prove to them that your position is a fact. Even such a thing as prohibition of theft really is only an opinion, it's not a fact. There are philosophers and political thinkers who did not believe in the concept of private property. Karl Marx was one of them. He has his opinion and you have yours. But none of them are facts. According to this, an objective person can never be moral. All moral ideas are opinions, never proven facts. And according to this definition of objectivity, an objective person should never take moral principles into account. Listening to anti-Semites and the enemies of the state of Israel, I realized that they are describing their position correctly. They understand and accept all points of view, even the most inhumane ones. And they do not take into account any moral principles. They are truly objective. I do not want to give any consideration to ideas that I consider inhumane. I want to base my decisions on moral principles, even if they are just my opinions. You will say I'm not objective? Turns out I'm not. But unlike those who justify terrorism and antisemitism, in the choice between objectivity and morality, I choose morality.